The wind whispered softly outside the window as the moonlight poured gently over the wooden floor of the quiet house. Inside a modest bedroom with pale blue curtains and a neatly made bed, 67-year-old Margaret Thompson sat at the edge, holding her worn leather-bound journal in her lap. Her silver hair was tied back in a loose braid. Her soft cotton robe draped around her shoulders like a hug from an old friend. She looked around the room. On the nightstand stood a picture frame with a photo of her late husband, James, smiling in his flannel shirt, holding a fishing rod and their first grandchild. Beside it lay a small ceramic angel, a gift from her daughter many years ago. Everything about the room echoed peace and memory. But Margaret's heart tonight was filled with something deeper: reflection, longing, and the need to be heard by someone greater than herself. She took a deep breath, opened the journal, and pulled out a folded paper tucked between the pages. It was her nightly prayer, handwritten, each word bearing the weight of years lived, of love given and received, of losses endured and joys celebrated. She didn't always read from it, but tonight felt different. Tonight, she wanted to pour it all out, to let her thoughts be carried upward like autumn leaves on a gentle breeze. Her voice was soft but steady as she began. "Dear Lord, before I rest tonight, I want to lay all my thoughts before you." Margaret paused, letting the silence welcome her honesty. "Thank you for today," she whispered. "Thank you for every breath I took, every smile I gave, and the warmth of sunlight that touched my face. Even though my days are quieter now, there's still beauty in them, and I don't take that for granted." She closed her eyes and leaned back slightly. Images of her grandchildren playing in the backyard last weekend made her lips curve into a small smile. Her daughter Susan had brought them over, and they'd laughed over lemonade and stories of when Susan was a child herself. It was those moments Margaret cherished more than anything. "Lord," she continued, "I lay before you my weariness. These old bones have carried me long and far, but some days I feel the heaviness of time. I don't say this to complain. I say it so you know I trust you with it. I trust you with my aches, my loneliness when the house gets too quiet, and the moments when I miss James so much that it hurts." She reached out and brushed her fingers across the photo frame. James had been gone for 9 years. It never got easier. She just grew stronger around the ache. They'd been married for 42 years. Their love wasn't perfect, but it had been true. They prayed together every night. He always held her hand as she spoke to God. Now she prayed alone, yet never truly alone. "Please tell James the first love him," she said, her voice breaking slightly. "I hope he's proud of how I've kept going." She wiped a tear and continued. "Tonight, I also pray for Susan. She's working so hard raising 3 kids and managing her job. Give her rest, Lord. Give her laughter. Give her peace. And bless little Ethan, Lily, and Noah. Let them grow up kind and strong. The world isn't easy, but I trust you're with them every step of the way." Margaret sighed, her heart lighter with every word. Felt good to pray for others. She always believed that prayers were never wasted, that even whispered ones carried weight in heaven. She looked out the window. The stars were beginning to shine, scattered across the dark velvet sky. One in particular twinkled brighter than the others. It reminded her of a time long ago, when she and James had taken a road trip across the country. Somewhere in Arizona, they'd camped beneath the stars. They had watched the sky for hours, talking about dreams and eternity. "Lord, help me to keep dreaming," she said softly. "Even at this age. Let me never lose the wonder, the desire to learn, and the willingness to love again." He paused. There was more on her heart. There always was. "I also lay before you the regrets," she said honestly. "There are things I wish I'd done differently. Times I raised my voice when I should have listened. Years I wasted worrying about what others thought. I know you've forgiven me, but sometimes I struggle to forgive myself. Please help me with that." Her voice was steady now, like a stream flowing gently over smooth stones. "And Lord, I pray for those I don't even know. The woman across the street who lost her husband last month. The man in the grocery store today who looked like the weight of the world was on his shoulders. I don't know their stories, but you do. Meet them where they are. Margaret set her journal aside and folded her hands. Let tonight be peaceful, Father. Let your angels watch over this house. Protect Susan and the kids, and bless everyone sleeping under your sky. She paused, thinking about people she hadn't seen in years. Old friends from church, distant cousins, neighbors who'd moved away. If someone out there feels forgotten tonight, let them feel remembered. If someone's crying into their pillow, let them feel held. Her words came more slowly now, as if each syllable was a stone placed carefully into a mosaic of faith and vulnerability. I don't know what tomorrow holds, Lord, but I know you hold me. And that's enough. A wave of calmness swept over her like a warm blanket. The weight of the day was lifted, carried on the wings of her prayer. Help me rest deeply. And if I wake, let it be to the sound of birds singing and the promise of another day. And if I don't, let it be to the sound of heaven's song. She opened her eyes and looked up at the ceiling. I love you, Lord. More now than ever before. Thank you for never leaving me. She slowly stood up and made her way to the window. She pulled the curtains back and looked up at the stars once more. Somewhere out there beyond what eyes could see, she believed there was a place prepared for her. A place where James waited, where her parents smiled, where pain no longer lived. But until that day came, she would continue this nightly conversation, trusting in the one who listened. She closed the curtains, turned off the lamp, and slid under the covers. Her body ached, but her soul rested. In the quiet darkness, she whispered one last thing before drifting off to sleep. Good night, Lord. Thank you for hearing me. The clock ticked gently. The wind outside slowed. And inside the room, peace reigned. And somewhere in the silence a prayer rose, carried beyond time, beyond space, straight into the heart of heaven.